Doug Macgregor is a retired U.S. Army colonel, author of the book Margin of Victory, and maybe the wisest voice on foreign policy that we know. And on nights like this, we're always grateful to have him. Colonel, what do you make of the response to the president's announcement?
Well, the swamp is clearly very disturbed because the president has done something that I have not witnessed in the last 30 years. He's actually injecting strategy back into American foreign and defense policy. Let me explain. He's turned to Mr. Erdogan, who has been trying to carve out a portion of Syria now for a very long time. Remember, Mr. Erdogan is also partially responsible for standing up ISIS. Then ISIS turned out to be a Frankenstein's monster, and he decided it needed to be brought under control. Now he wants to resettle Sunni Arab refugees in northwestern Syria and create a kind of security zone for Turkish interests. But he's also simultaneously told Mr. Erdogan, you can do this, but now you are responsible for dealing with ISIS if ISIS rears its head. If it comes back, it's your problem. Now, this is a very important point. The president has shifted the burden of responsibility for something that is clearly regional, clearly goes back to Turkey, to Mr. Erdogan. At the same time, Russia has promised to maintain the territorial integrity of Syria, come what may. How is Russia going to deal with Mr. Erdogan, who has decided to carve out a piece of Syria for his own purposes? And then we have Iran. Iran wants to maintain its connectivity to Lebanon and its Shiite allies in that country. But with the Turks dominating northern Syria, Iran now is going to be unable, or at least will find it far, far more difficult to connect with Lebanon. The point is the president has checkmated all of the key players in the region in Syria. Now they must confront each other for a change.
But wait a second. You're leaving out a key point, and the one that I've been hearing all day long on a loop on television, which is really our only allies in the world, the Kurds of Syria. What about them? Everybody on television basically spent 12 hours today in a kind of tribute to the Syrian Kurds.
Before we arrived, the Maoist communist Kurds in northern Syria, who have a long history and a close relationship with Moscow as a result, were always interested in allying themselves with anyone that would further their cause when their cause involves independence for themselves in Syria and also attacks against the Turks, whom they regard as enemies. In our absence, the Kurds now have to make a decision. Do we make a peace with Damascus, which is what the Russians have told them to do, which is what we have privately told them to do, which is what the Syrian government would like them to do? Or did the Kurds decide to take on the Turks independently? I rather think that the Syrian Kurds will decide that it's probably in their interest to side with Damascus. So once we pull out, I think we'll see that happen. But here's something else. Israel benefits from this because Iran is now at loggerheads with Turkey. Iran is interested in connecting to Hezbollah. The Russians have no interest in turning Syria into a platform for attack against Israel. So the Russians and the Iranians, who are checkmated by the Turks, now the Turks and all three of these people have to deal with the reality that Israel and the United States are benefiting from our withdrawal.
You know, that's not at all what Nikki Haley said in her tweet, but I think you make a persuasive case, and I think I believe you. Colonel, great to see you tonight.
Great to see you.
Thank you very much.